Hi friends, in this video I'm going to walk you through a brand new Zapier workflow that I built to help me prep for client calls that land on my calendar. And so what we're going to do is auto create a Google Calendar event that blocks 30 minutes prior to any strategy session and or one-off client calls that I have. And I'm going to show you how to do that for yourself. So super simple, but just keep in mind that you do need to have a paid Zapier plan because this does use a internal Zapier tool called Formatter, and we'll walk through that in a second. But what we want to do is start a new Zap, and our trigger point, which is step 1, is going to be pulling those new events from your calendar. And so the trigger event is going to be new event. It's going to be an instant pull, so it'll happen automatically rather than having a 2 to 3 minute delay on there. So we're going to select that. And if you're not already logged into Google Calendar, make sure that you do that. And then we'll click continue and select our calendar. Now, if you have not seen my crazy calendar lady video, this is going to show you a lot of things, but I have a calendar for every area of my business. And so for me, I will actually click client calls. I have specific calls in cal.com that when booked, they get added to this calendar specifically compared to anything else. If you only have one calendar in Google, select that one. It's totally fine. But just keep in mind that you will more than likely want to use the filter by Zapier for step 2 to specifically trigger language from those calendar bookings that you have, such as strategy session or client call. So keep in mind that you may need to zhuzh this a bit if you don't have multiple calendars. So we're going to click client calls and then we're going to test. Now it will pull records. If you don't see one that works for you, you can always click find new records. We are going to use this one, which is actually a meeting that I have tomorrow. And then on step 2, we are going to use Formatter by Zapier. And what this is going to do is allow you to format data from the initial, or rather the trigger step 1, so you can utilize it in the next steps of this workflow. So for the action, we're going to click date and time, click continue, and then under transform, we are going to click add or subtract time. And then our input is going to be the initial event begins from step 1, from our trigger. So we'll click that. And then our expression is what do we want it to do? Add time, subtract time. And so for us, we are going to subtract 30 minutes. Okay. And then our format, we want the month, date, year, and then the full time. So we'll select the 4Ms, DDY, HH, MMSS. That gives us the full format. Now we're going to click continue, and you'll notice that the test event that we're using from our trigger is September 11th at 9 a.m. And what we want it to do is subtract 30 minutes. So if this works, our data output now shows 8:30. So in this scenario, if you wanted it to add an hour or let's say add a day, you can basically change that. So we could say plus 1 hour, we could say plus 48 hours. You can really dictate however you want that. You can also do minus 1 hour, etc. Just make sure that when you are doing this, that you have a space between the time and the minute or hour or month or year, and you keep no space between the plus or minus and the time. And then we'll click continue, and I'm just going to retest that since I changed all that data. Perfect. Okay. So now our next step is going to be adding that new calendar event. So Google Calendar will then be also our action. However, we will click create detailed event. Click continue. And then for us, we're actually going to choose a different calendar. So for me, this prep time, this prep book will actually go under project management. So I will put that on that calendar. And then the summary is going to be your event title. So we'll say prep for, and then we want to pull the calendar event title from the original event, so we know what we are prepping for. So we'll click our summary here. I don't need anything in the event description, so I'll ignore that. Location, this is basically a task, right? So we just know we're going to work on it. We don't need conferencing. However, for our start date and time, we're going to pull the date that was created in the formatter of step 2. So you will select the output, And then the end date time is actually just going to be when the initial event started. So instead of formatting that again or changing this in different ways, you can just have it build up all the way to the time of your call. We don't need any repeat frequency. We don't need any attendees added. For your team, if you have, let's say, somebody else on your team prepping for a client call, then you might want to automatically invite them to this calendar event, but you don't have to. It's not necessary. So we'll click continue here and we will test the step. Now, what you can see, I actually have 3 here from testing it, but you will see that my original call was here at 9 a.m. and now I have a prep for at 8:30. And my color coding, the light green, or rather the olivey color, is going to be our client calls, and then the lighter green is for our project management. So that means that it worked. We can click publish and we are good to go.
Ew.
Oh, hey, did you know that it costs $0 to create efficiency in your business? Go to the description down below and download my free workbook to see how you can start working better.